Hey there, darlings. Welcome back to the Farmer's Table. If you're new here, my name is Jess, and here in my kitchen, I love to share real food in a way that is attainable and delicious. And today I am going to be sharing a recipe that I hope that you will attain. I hope that you will try this. I have absolutely loved this recipe this summer. I've made multiple batches and I'm excited to get another batch going today. Today I'm making fermented hot honey. I saw a lot of variations of this recipe on like Instagram reels. That's kind of how it came to me. Now, I've been a big fan of hot honey for a while now, which is just honey that's infused with spicy chili peppers. I had it at multiple places on pizzas and like on chicken sandwiches, different things like that. It's pretty popular in the South, at least. I mean, this is where I live, so it's the access I have. But I'm thinking maybe it's gotten more popular all over. But this version actually uses fermentation, and I think it takes hot honey to a whole new level. Plus, I get to use lovely things that I grow out of my garden. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. You can make it spicy or less so, depending on your taste. Here I have a batch that I made, I don't know, probably a month or so ago. We'll get back to that. But today we're gonna get started with just a pint-sized jar. I do have this for fermentation. It's called a pickle pipe lid. I'll get back to that as well. I've got some local honey. I have almost a cup, just shy of a cup of peeled garlic cloves, a variation of chili peppers. Some of these are like spicy chili peppers. These are like jalapenos, serranos. And I actually grabbed a couple of peppers that are not spicy, that are just very flavorful sweet peppers out of the garden. This is a habanada. This is a Pippin's Golden Honey pepper. Because I really love pepper flavor, but I am kind of a wimp when it comes to heat. I also have a small onion, and I have some thyme. Now, you can do any variation of herbs you want. You can omit any of these things. Obviously, if you omit the chilies, it's not going to be hot honey. Now, you may have seen a recipe that has been going around for a while now that is garlic cloves fermented in honey. And it's something that's pretty common in herbal medicine because of garlic's antimicrobial properties. And the idea, whenever you take this garlic fermented in honey, you can take like a spoon of it whenever you feel a cold coming on. And I've done that for a long time. Now, anytime you look that up, you're also going to see people talking about the risk of botulism with that. I will be completely frank with you. When I see risks blown out of major proportion and I can't find any recorded cases of someone actually getting sick from that, whenever people are just constantly warning about the risk of something, I do not care. In a world where people are sick and dying from living off of fast food windows, I think that we need to stop being so afraid of real food. That's my soapbox. I could get on it. I won't today because I'm making delightful hot honey instead. If you are afraid of the risk of botulism from fermenting garlic and honey, which you will be doing for this recipe as well as these other things, put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in your mix. That will bring the acid levels up and eliminate the concern for the potential of foodborne illness. I will tell you, I will not be putting apple cider vinegar in mine. I've not put apple cider vinegar in any of the batches I've made, and I've talked to many people who have also made this, and they don't either. I like to acknowledge the concerns because I think that unfortunately, oftentimes they overwhelm the benefit whenever it comes to information on the internet because fear sells. But I don't feel concerned about those things. So I'm going to slice this garlic very thin. You can, if you want to like make this step faster, you can press this garlic. You can put it through the food processor. But for the benefit of eating this hot honey, I really like very, very thin garlic slices. It's just my preference. And so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I got my garlic all chopped up in here. When you use this condiment, you're gonna drizzle the honey itself on things, but the peppers and the garlic and everything that's in there are gonna be really tasty too. They're gonna be very saturated and it's all gonna meld together. So with a lot of things, I mean, I like to put that stuff on things also. So that's why I don't like any of the chunks to be like really massive. So what's gonna happen when we ferment this stuff in the honey is that the moisture from the garlic, from the peppers, from the onion, is going to ferment with the sugar of the honey. So the end product of this is not as sweet as if you were to just eat straight honey. It gets a lot runnier. Depending on how long you ferment it, it can get somewhat bubbly. And if you like a little tangier and less sweet, you can just let it go longer. I usually put all of these ingredients together and let them sit on the counter, shaking it daily for about a week. I've let it go as far as 2 weeks just to see what would happen. And it is gonna get runnier and runnier. You could go as little as just a few days, but I think that at that point it's really more of an infusion than a fermentation. It needs probably at least 4 or 5 days on the counter, and this also depends on how warm your kitchen is. So I wouldn't, if this is your first time making this, I would suggest that maybe you taste it after like 3 or 4 days, see how it is. Give it another day, maybe taste it daily, just so that you know kind of what's happening. With this onion, this one kind of smallish onion, I'm going to cut it in thinnish strips, and then I'm gonna dice it. If you like bigger pieces of onion, you could totally just do rings or something like that, but I want these pieces to be relatively small so that after they ferment, they don't have a lot of crunch to them. Putting this in, I don't think I'm gonna use this other half for this. I think this is enough. Whew. So like that's probably like a 1/4 cup of very finely chopped onion. What are all the tricks they say to make your eyes not water with onion? Put a match between your lips, an unlit match. Different things, I don't know. I usually just cry over my onions. All right, I'm probably gonna put, let me just say, 3 very thinly sliced hot peppers in this, and I'll do 1 of each of these not hot peppers. And I'm slicing these peppers very, very thin. You could dice these, you could do thicker slices if you like a bite of jalapeno on your food. Also, if you are one that loves like hatefully hot stuff, like go for it. Put your ghost peppers and scotch bonnets and all that stuff in, and then keep it at your house because I cannot do that. And literally just thinking about that gives me the hiccups. You can play with this. If you like more spice, you can definitely do several peppers. And of course, you can do larger batches of this. I'm just doing this 1 pint jar because this is how much honey I have. The first batch of this I actually did a 1/2 gallon. I got a quart of honey, and then I added a bunch of stuff into the jar and covered it with the honey, and it was really, really delicious. Every batch I've done has turned out, you know, slightly different because I've been mixing it up each time, but every batch I have done has been excellent. So definitely this is something to make your own. I do like using different colors. Now you can see here that once the fermentation is done, the color kind of washes out of everything. There's a little bit of color in there. I am using green, red, and orange peppers today just because I love colorful things. All right, that's my hot peppers. If you want to like eliminate the spice some, you can definitely take the seeds out of your peppers. I'm gonna toss these seeds in here because I would like to have that. Now here's one of my Pippin's golden honey peppers. This is just gonna add a nice sweet pepper flavor without any extra heat. And this is a habanada. Very tropical flavor of a habanero without the heat. I think habanadas are actually getting popular enough now you can buy those peppers at the store. For the longest time you could only have those if you grew them. All right, now I'm gonna take, I don't know, 6 or so sprigs of thyme, and I'm gonna pull the leaves off of the sticks. Rosemary is good in this, oregano, basil. It just depends on kind of what you want the end result to be. I really like thyme because I just think that it is such a great partner to sweet and savory. I tend to use thyme in a lot of recipes where I'm wanting to put a little bit of herb taste with sweet things. I will write down the measurements that I'm using in a printable paper recipe down below that you can click and print and put in your recipe binder, but again, this is not a recipe. All right, now I have all of my ingredients layered in my jar. This honey, this is a little less than a pint. I bought this to do this with, and then it got opened and used for tea, but it's fine. Now I'm going to just pour this honey over the top, pausing periodically to kind of scooch the stuff aside and let the honey run down. I want all of my ingredients completely immersed in honey. Jar's a little fuller than I probably should have made it. It'll be fine. It's gonna settle down a little bit more. I'm sure there are more air bubbles in there. I have this is called a pickle pipe. This is a fermentation lid. I like these because they're silicone. I will put a link to these or something similar to it. They're made by Mason Tops. I just bought them on Amazon. And you just use a regular mason jar lid and put this on, and it's got a vent. Fermentation creates gases, and you do not want to seal a lid on top. You also want the gas that it produces to be able to get out. If you don't want to buy this specific product, that's completely fine. You can just take like a paper towel or a cheesecloth or a rag and put it over the top and use a rubber band to hold it. So what you're going to do is you're going to just leave this sitting out on the counter, and within the first couple of days it's going to start bubbling a little bit. You want to stir it every day, or just take it and shake it. Now it's real thick right now. That honey is really thick. But after a couple of days, after the liquid is all being released out of the veggies that you put in here, the fermentation is going to start with that sugar, and it's going to loosen up a lot. So let me show you what it looks like when it's done. So this fermented on the counter for a week or so. You can see all the ingredients here have gotten a lot softer, but you can see the texture here is a lot runnier than that sticky, thick honey. After it's sat on the counter, I would say for a minimum of a week, but as I said, taste it, see what you think. After you're ready to be done with the fermentation, you just put a solid lid on it, just the mason jar lid or whatever container you're using, and stick it in the refrigerator. And so from then on out, you're gonna store it in the refrigerator. So this is the one that I did last. It still definitely has a really good honey flavor. It has the heat of the peppers, it's got the heat of the garlic and the spice of the garlic, but the garlic itself, like these pieces of garlic, are way mellow. It doesn't taste at all like eating raw garlic. Still definitely has a strong garlic flavor. And it stores in the fridge like for a long time. Honey itself really doesn't go bad very easily, and then with the fermentation, just as long as you keep it in the fridge, it's gonna be good for a really long while. Now, what do you use this on? I'm so glad you asked. This is fantastic on so many different things. You could put like a cheese plate out, charcuterie, and have some of this hot honey out to just spread on things like that. You can put it on any sort of sandwich. If you're gonna put it in, let's say, like a roast turkey sandwich with like cream cheese, and like spread some of the hot honey on it, drizzle that on. I really like it on roasted meats. So the other day I did a roast chicken and drizzled this hot honey on top of it, and it was really good, and I got the veggies and all that stuff as well. It's really good with roasted beef, and I mean just any roast meat. Fried chicken sandwich with hot honey on it is like so stinking good. I haven't had one of those in a while. You should eat one for me. Another thing, like roasted vegetables, if there's anything that you want to like bring a pop of sweet out, but you don't want the sweet to be totally overpowering, this is really great. So I did some roasted sweet potatoes the other day that had a bunch of herbs on them, and then drizzled this with the, well, this one, with the garlic and the peppers on top of it, and it was completely delicious. It doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, you're not like, this isn't something that you're necessarily using gobs at a time of, so it does last a while. But I think it is fantastic. And I imagine, I mean, I'm not making any health claims here, but I imagine that with the fermented garlic and the peppers and all of this stuff, there is some measure of benefit to eating this, you know? I mean, it's not just eating completely useless sugar. The fermentation and those ingredients that do support health. I mean, let's just say we're doing this for our health. That's what it is. I hope you guys love this. Let me know if you try any other combinations that you think I should try, because I am definitely open to trying other things. I absolutely adore it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.